Japan.
Hundreds of years ago, Japan told the rest of the world that he hates them and that they're not even their real mother, and slammed the door shut, starting a long, closed-off policy called the Sakoku. No one was to get in or get out of the country. Some limited trade between the Dutch was allowed, and we can only assume what the Japanese were buying from the Dutch. If you know what I mean. Honestly, Japan at that time reminds me of my teenage years. Close up the curtains, fire up the RuneScape, smoke some weederinos, and masturbate to ukiyo-e. Fakest looking cloud I've ever seen. It must be the aliens. Of course, some people got in, like Ronald McDonald, no relation to the famous clown with a similar name. Donald? He pretended to be shipwrecked so he could get into the anime land, and he got caught and just pushed around the country teaching English for a while until he got kicked out. Pretty similar to how most Westerners are in Japan today. Shortly after him came a bloated, old, famous Matthew Perry. I mean, not this Matthew Perry, this Matthew Perry, commander of the American fleet, who came to Japan, just parked his boats outside and just said, "Come out of your room, Japan. Time to open up." The American fleet said they came in peace, unless, of course, Japan wanted to fight, then they would f*** them up. But other than that, they were very peaceful. Commodore Perry also shot multiple blanks from his cannons, like towards the Japanese coastline, and when the Japanese came in and asked, like, "Hey, what the f*** you doing?" He was like, "Oh yeah, we're celebrating our Independence Day." It didn't take long for Japan to open up after this, and from there on, Japan opened up to the world and started their own world domination plans. It says, "Don't play on the rocks and get into the water." Well, as long as I don't get into the water. Ta-da! And a couple of wars later, America cucked Japan pretty much and put their military bases all over the country. And one of the bases is behind me. You can see at least what I assume is a submarine and some old military craft and new military craft. Sadly, you cannot get in unless you know someone who can get you in, or if there's a special occasion. There's maybe 1 or 2 days, I'm not fully sure, within the year that you can get in. And even then, of course, limited access. For whatever reason, there's lots of cats suddenly around me. I guess this is where they hang out, in the Memorial Park. The bases overall don't have the best rep. The young people don't mind them that much, but the older generation definitely doesn't like the military kids and brats drinking around the city and making noise. But in the mainland Japan, people are relatively fine with it, but when you go to Okinawa, things get a bit different. The situation in Okinawa in general is very ready to blow up all the time. There's been a lot of cases of, let's say, things happening there. A big one was, for example, in 2004 when the American air fleet showed their superior firepower by driving a helicopter to a local school, and well, you can assume that local people weren't too happy about that. It's a good looking ship, although a bit boring color. I would put like flame stripes on it if I could, to make it cool. They shut off all the cannons in case anyone gets any ideas and tries to, take it out for a spin. Amazing, they have free Wi-Fi on the old Navy boat, because that's exactly what it needed. I guess I have to go in now if they have free Wi-Fi. Yeah. So, is this the Russian corner? I don't see anything too Russian within this corner. I guess you can't even visit a memorial warship without seeing Gacha. Now all I wish is that I would have my body pillow with me. You know, do the... I was looking through Google Maps to see where I could eat, and there's a place, it says world's first burger, the Obama burger. I don't know if I should trust that. I think I'll go with the curry instead. Before I go, I'll leave you with a cool jump.